to the ball. There's my man laying out in the back, so I move, slide to the dance floor. I never seen a club so sick before. Get on the mic and get raw. Punch the front door to door. Everybody dance to the new sound, rock and roll, soul to soul. I bring it all down from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. I got people everywhere. They jump, they sing, they hair, they shake, they yeah, oh yeah. So losing your body, so let me take control. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll, we're going slow and show. It will develop into a new form. Break the norm, get warm and get warm. Come back again, tear it up and transform. From the beginning, the boat to the beat. All on the TV screens, the big scene with the Beatles and the Jackson 5. The Who's, the Doors, the Rolling Stones, and even I. Able the bit to get rich, helping the group that is legit. Your parents shifted back in the day. The same way they did rap, are you a man? So 3 days, let's rock and roll.